Welcome to Real Talk with Reginald D. I'm your host, Reginald D. On today's episode, we'll be talking about tariffs for your life. Let's go. Now, when you hear the word tariff, your mind probably goes to economics, imports, exports, and taxes. But today, I want you to think about the tariffs in a whole new way. I want you to think about the hidden costs, the emotional, spiritual, and mental fees that we've been paying without even knowing it. Some of these tariffs were passed down to us. Others we picked up along the way. But no matter where they came from, one thing is for sure. They are costing us our joy, our peace, and sometimes even our purpose. So let's talk about it. Let's break it all the way down. You see, in economics, a tariff is a tax placed on goods that are imported from one place to another. It's meant to protect homegrown industries or to regulate the flow of trade. But what if we've been placing tariffs on ourselves, on the things we are trying to bring into our lives? Tariffs on love, tariffs on healing, tariffs on being vulnerable, tariffs on walking in purpose, tariffs on trusting people, tariffs on trusting God. Let me ask you something. What's costing you your peace right now? What emotional tax are you paying daily that you shouldn't be? Maybe it's the voice in your head that says, I'm not good enough. Maybe it's the belief that you have to hustle nonstop just to be worthy. Or maybe it's the fear of being hurt again, so you don't let anyone close. That's a tariff. That's a fee you're paying to protect something. But at what cost? I want to be real with y'all. I've lived with tariffs on my life. I've been taxed by rejection, by abandonment, by the belief that because I was born out of wedlock, I had to prove my worth. That belief cost me joy. It cost me rest. It cost me relationships. I lived like I owed the world something just for being here. But God had to show me that was a lie. That was a tax someone else placed on me, and I didn't even know I could cancel it. Some of these tariffs were imposed by our childhoods. Maybe your parents never told you that they were proud of you. Maybe they made love conditional. I love you if you get good grades. I'll accept you if you act right. And so now as adults, we're still performing, still auditioning, still trying to earn love, still placing tariffs on our own hearts, thinking we're not allowed to be loved unless we pay the full price. Some of us got spiritual tariffs. You feel distant from God because religion told you had to be perfect, that you had to jump through hoops for grace, that you had to fix yourself before you could approach Him. But let me tell you something right now. Grace is free. Mercy is free. Salvation is free. And if Jesus paid it all, why are you still trying to add fees? And don't get me started on relationship tariffs. Some of us were in toxic situations that taught us love is supposed to hurt, that you have to sacrifice your identity to keep someone. And now every time someone good comes into your life, you tax them with your fear. You tax yourself with doubt. You sabotage the connection before it even starts because love has become expensive. Family, we need to ask, who put these tariffs in place? Who told you you weren't enough? Who made you think that joy had to be earned? Who convinced you that rest was a luxury instead of a necessity? The truth is, we often continue to pay emotional tolls long after the threat is gone. We internalize the lies. We become our own customs officers, inspecting every dream, every opportunity, every relationship, and deciding if it's worth the risk. But there's good news. Tariffs can be renegotiated. You can renegotiate the price you will pay emotionally. You can forgive people, not to let them off the hook, but to release yourself from the cost of carrying that burden. Forgiveness is like a refund on years of pain. You don't forget, you just stop financing it. You can stop overthinking. Stop people-pleasing. Stop paying for peace by staying small or silent. Start setting boundaries. That's like changing your spiritual trade policy. You're allowed to protect your peace without guilt. You're allowed to say no without explanation. You're allowed to take up space and not apologize for it. Let me remind you what Jesus said in Matthew 11, chapter 30 verse. My yoke is easy. and my burden is light. If what you're carrying is heavy, it might not be from God. It might be a tariff the world placed on you that you were never meant to carry in the first place. So how do we live tariff free? First, you got to know your worth. Know who you are in God. You are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are not your failures. You are who He says you are. Loved, chosen, and enough. Now you have to stop paying for what Jesus already paid for. He paid the ultimate price so you could walk free. So stop letting your past invoice your present. You got to release the belief that freedom is selfish. It's not. Your healing helps others heal. Your peace becomes a testimony. Your joy becomes contagious. I want to challenge you right now. Write your own tariff cancellation notice. Say it out loud. I will no longer pay the price for fear. I cancel the tax of self-doubt. I cancel the tariff on love. I cancel the fee on rest. I cancel the tax on perfectionism. I choose freedom. Family, this is your moment. This is your spiritual declaration of independence. No more hidden costs. No more emotional taxes. No more important lies from your past into your future. Now, family, if you're still with me, I want to go deeper because I know some of y'all are listening and thinking, okay, Reginald, I hear you, but how do I actually let go? How do I cancel these emotional tariffs when I feel like I've been paying them my whole life? Let's talk about that. See, when pain goes unprocessed, it becomes a policy. Unhealed wounds write silent rules that we live by. You might not realize it, but that one somebody that abandoned you, that became a silent law in your life. Don't trust too much. Don't love too hard. That's betrayal. It stamped your spirit with, you better do everything yourself. It whispered, play it safe next time. Don't dream too big. But here's the truth. Those aren't God's rules. That's trauma talking. That's fear building a fortress. That's rejection writing your resume. You got to audit your emotional economy. Look at the thoughts that play on repeat. Who wrote them? Who benefits from you believing them? Spoiler alert, it's not you. Trauma compounds over time, just like interest on a loan. The longer you leave it untouched, the more it costs. The one heartbreak becomes bitterness. The one failure becomes fear. The one you're not good enough turns into decades of underachievement. Let me keep it real. Some of y'all paying today for pain from 10, 15, even 30 years ago. You don't realize that you shrink in a room every time you say yes when you mean no. Every time you stay silent to avoid conflict, you're still paying. But you don't have to anymore. Because guess what? Your soul was never meant to be a debt collector. Let's talk about the fees we didn't choose, but inherited. Tariffs passed down in bloodlines. Tariffs came from a lineage of silence, from mothers who never spoke the truth, fathers who didn't show up, grandparents who taught survival but never showed how to live. That's generational debt. But somebody has to say, the cycle stops with me. You may not have started the fire, but you can stop the burning. You can cancel the agreements made in trauma. You can declare it happened to them, but it ends with me. That's legacy at work. That's spiritual accounting. That's breaking chains. Now I need you to hear me now. Really hear this. You don't have to keep paying for a version of you that no longer exists. If you've repented, if you've grown, if you've changed, stop trying to earn what God already gave. Romans 8 chapter 1st verse says, therefore there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Let me break it down. That emotional late fee they're trying to charge you is invalid, expired. Grace has zero interest and full forgiveness. So why are you still writing checks with shame? Every time you choose to heal, you're declaring spiritual independence. Every time you go to therapy, every time you journal, every time you break down in prayer, every time you say, I forgive, not because they deserve it, but because I deserve peace. That's a revolt. And healing is messy. It's not easy. Some days you'll feel free, and the next you'll feel taxed all over again. But that's okay, because you're reprogramming your spiritual economy. You're moving from scarcity to abundance, from survival to wholeness, from tariffs to truth. Some of us are paying tariffs on stolen identities. You've been labeled by your pain, by your past, by other people's opinions. But what does God say? He says you're a royal priesthood. He says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. He says you are his workmanship. So why are you still identifying as broken? That's not your name anymore. You weren't created to carry unnecessary weight. Jesus said his burden is light. So if it's heavy, check the bags. If it's guilt, cancel it. If it's fear, refund it. If it's shame, return the sender. You are not your trauma. You are not your family's dysfunction. You are not what they said about you. You are not broken beyond repair. You are healed, chosen, redeemed, and free. If you made it this far, I believe something shifted. I believe someone's soul just got lighter. I believe someone is about to cancel a lifelong tariff and finally walk in freedom. Say it with me one more time. I cancel the tax of fear. I cancel the fee of doubt. I cancel the tariff on my worth. I declare I am free in Jesus' name. That's it. That's a declaration. That's a new economy of your life. Man, that was deep, fam. We talked about the hidden costs, the tolls, the emotional taxes we paid. For today, I hope you walk away knowing this. You are not meant to live under constant fees. Jesus already paid the ultimate price. So stop letting the past invoice your present. You're free. You're worthy. And you don't have to keep paying. Freedom is your new currency. If this episode bless you, share it with someone who needs to be reminded. They don't owe the world anything to be loved. God already paid it all. Until next time, don't just survive. Live free, thrive, and cancel those tariffs. Thank you for tuning in to Real Talk with Reginald D. If you enjoy listening to Real Talk with Reginald D, please rate and reviews on Apple Podcasts. See you next time.